Good morning and welcome to New Beginnings Podcast with Michelle. I do hope you're doing great today and you've had an opportunity to relax and feel comfortable in your skin and do exercise and movement to get you going. But you know me, we're all about well being and we're all about learning how to keep our bodies as well as our minds and our things intact. What am I talking about? Today, we're talking about finances. So, we started off the year talking about finances and making sure that we get things done. Get a spreadsheet done, look at your expenses, look at your income, and we try to track things to see where we're spending too much money, where we're spending too little, how to get more income. But we want to continue this throughout the year. So we want to always check in with you. And today we're heading back to Miss Ronetta Morgan with Start Now Money Coach. That's her organization. You can find her at her website at Start Now Money Coach. And we will be going through a little bit more about more specific in financing and well-being for our younger generation. So the ones between the 20s and 30s who have been off to college, just starting college, just completing college, wherever you fall in that area, we are going to help you today. But before we start that, you know I love to say my affirmations. And here at New Beginnings, we are saying this affirmation today. I am and I feel empowered. I am and I feel powerful. I am and I feel grounded, centered, safe, and secure. Yes, I am and I feel grounded, centered, safe, and secure. And the only way we could do that sometimes is look at our finances. Other than putting your trust in God, He gives us the tools to help us stay grounded and secure. We will look at our finances now and consider how we can become secure and grounded. So, hi, Miss Ronetta. How are you today?
Good morning, Michelle. How are you?
I'm good. I'm glad to have you on today. And we are going to jump right into how can we help our youth or our young adults? How can we help them?
Yes. So, we're talking about this morning about school loan debt, which is really a plague for our young adults. Our young adults that are starting college and our young adults that have recently finished college, and even some, young adults that have been out of school for, 10 years or so, in their early 30s that are still paying off school loan debt. And it's a big issue in our country. In our country alone, there are over 43 million people that have school loan debt with an average of about $39,000 in school loan debt, all the way up to six figures or more of school loan debt. And so when you're coming out of college with sometimes enough debt, which could equal a mortgage payment, how do you navigate that? How do you navigate that large number? And so there are a few things that you can do prior to accumulating a large amount of school loan debt. And then a few things that you can do if you have a large amount of school loan debt. So I think the first thing is really understanding that you're not alone and that you're actually part of the norm, unfortunately, in the US. They're just, very easy to get. And there's not a lot of education prior to what your life is going to look like after graduation.
And that is really hard to digest
Mhm.
because, for instance, I went to school back home. My first degree, or my first and second degrees, were back home, but they were actually American degrees. We did take loans to do my programs, but we paid it off quick.
Yeah.
We did not
Yeah.
want to do the long, drawn out, need to pay money all these 20, 30 years. That is something, once we take the loan, we pay it off. And most of the people who were um, studying, especially degree or master's program, we were in the age bracket of probably late 20s,
Mhm.
30s, 40s. So most of the times we were already working
Mhm.
and then starting to do college programs and stuff. So we make sure we paid our debt off fast.
Right. Right. And so, yeah, this culture is just very different. Um, we have, quite like I said, quite a few that have a lot of school loan debt, well over the average of about 39,000.
Mm.
And so I think there are a few things that you can do. One, to minimize that. So the
Yes.
first thing is really researching prior to embarking on your college education. What are ways that you can reduce or eliminate the need for school loans? So scholarships are one way to, really do your research on your parents' employers that may have scholarships, on organizations within your city that have scholarships, and organizations at the school you'll be attending, their scholarships, by doing your, due diligence and applying for all of those scholarships. Now, many of those scholarships have a minimum GPA requirement. So you want to make sure that you're keeping your grades up so that you'll be eligible for those scholarships. But you want to reduce the need for school loans as much as possible. If you're a young adult that's working, and still living at home, contribute that income that you have coming in to purchasing books, to your tuition payment,
Yes.
minimizing as much as possible, again, the need for the school loan. And I think also researching your degree, researching the income, potential income that you'll have after you finish that undergraduate and graduate program. Many times we don't really have an understanding of what that degree is actually going to afford us. So if you think in your mind that, a business degree is going to get you six figures a year, that may not be the case unless you have a graduate degree. And so doing that level of research so that you understand what will your capacity be to actually pay back any loans that you've taken out. And that will help you make a decision on, maybe I take a little longer to complete school so that I can cash flow it. Maybe this is not the degree that I want to pursue because long term, it's not going to benefit me, but doing that level of research up front.
Yes. Yes. That's something that one has to consider
Mhm.
when trying to figure out what degree I want to get into. Because at the end of the day, you want to know if you're going to make back the money that you spent
Mhm.
for this
Mhm.
program. And you want to be able to benefit from it, not just pay it back, but benefit for it, make a profit off of the degree. And as you said, making it longer term. So you did your business degree or you go into getting a master's in business, knowing, okay, am I getting a master's in general business or am I going to be specific? Like I want to be an accountant or I want to be an HR, figuring out what may be the best segue or segment to go into to be able to make the money at the end of the day.
Yes.
And
Yes.
so, student counselors, how important are they? Because a lot of students want to start a degree and they're in school and they started, and 2 years down the road in their program, they're not too sure who to talk to. Even though they have student counselors, they're not too sure where to go or what
Yes.
to do.
Yeah, so I would start with, again, your counselors that are at your school. I would
Mhm.
also tap into your circle of family and friends. If you have family and friends that are in the field that you're pursuing, to have conversations with them and
Yes.
actually ask them if you can shadow them for a day so that you can get an idea of what a day in the life would look like as a, say, a physician assistant or a lawyer or, an artist. And so to shadow them to see what that day would actually look like and ask them really specific questions. What do they like about that profession? What don't they like about that profession? What do the hours look like? What are the possible opportunities for advancement in that profession? That's really a key thing to research as well. How long did it typically take them to get to the level that they are? Many entry level positions can really lead to some pretty lucrative positions, after you get a level of experience. So you want to have an understanding of that, really having an understanding of how the workplace works for the profession that you're going into. And then you'll be able to make a better decision to determine, is this worth the investment? Is
Yes.
this something that I want to do? And is it worth the amount of money that I'm about to invest?
Yes. And that's like, so basically doing a SWOT analysis. And
Mhm.
even if you're a science major, you should still do some business. I know they have elective programs that, to zone in on what is the business side of things. So you
Yes,
need to figure out what your strengths are, weaknesses of this particular field that you're getting into, what opportunities you might find, and
yes,
what threats it might have in terms of, is this going to make it a short term? You're not going to be able to move up in the organization or move out to have your own business. How can this degree impact me in the long run?
yes, absolutely. And
Yeah.
so you want to do all that. Now, if you've already committed, you're a senior in college and you've
Mhm.
already committed to, a degree, it's not too late to do that type of analysis.
Yes.
Because
Yes.
it will help you determine, what type of grad school program that you'll go into.
Yes.
And again, a lot of people pivot. A lot of people pivot to different graduate programs because of, either just a lack of interest by the time they're in their senior year, or they've gained new knowledge of something else that, piques their interest a lot more. And so there's nothing wrong with that. There's nothing wrong with pivoting, but you want to, again, do that due diligence to determine, what is that pivot going to look like to me financially? What do I need to do financially, to be able to pivot in this way? And if you've already graduated and you have a significant amount of debt, then it's a matter of planning an attack on that debt. I hate to hear people say that, I'm just going to die with this debt, or I'm going to have school loan debt forever because of the amount, that it is. But I want you to think about it a little bit differently. It's just going to take you maybe a little bit longer and you may have to delay a few things. But that debt, the interest on that debt, and just the finances that it takes to pay off that debt are thing are is is money that you're going to want to have to build your future, to
Yes.
create wealth, to sustain the lifestyle that you want to have. And so having that amount of debt continually growing, because if you're only paying the minimum payment on that, likely the interest is even more or equal to the minimum payment. And so the debt is actually growing or not moving. And so you don't want to get in that situation where you're tying up your funds that you're going to want to use to either build wealth or just to sustain your lifestyle. So at that point, it's a matter of creating a strategy, creating a debt payoff strategy, looking at how long it will take you. And you don't have to always go aggressive. You know, you can do things simultaneously. You could save up for a home and make an additional $200 to $300 payment on a student loan debt. The plan, you know, that you create needs to fit what's happening in your life, but with
Yes.
the bigger picture of, you know, I'm going to eliminate this debt.
Yes. So you want an end goal. I think you want to eliminate this debt. And you have, again, you said at the beginning, you want to be secured and safe. So for you to be able to do that, you have to plan ahead, and you
Yes,
have to plan on what may be the steps that I need to take to get or attain the goal that I'm looking for.
absolutely.
So what would be an example of a person who has a student loan? What would you suggest to them?
So the first thing is looking at your overall budget, looking
Mhm.
at your overall budget that you've created to see what is your surplus. How much additional cash do you have left over after you take care of all of your living expenses? And then to really assess what this year looks like. I like looking at kind of a broader picture to see, you know, kind of what are things that are going to come up this year. One-time expenses such as vacations, one-time expenses such as, you know, a car repair or, you know, a home remodel project. But to look at all of those things, to look at your finances in a global, you know, kind of perspective, and then to then kind of dial back to see, okay, if I budget this much a month to take care of this vacation and this much a month to take care of an upcoming car repair, I still have, you know, a certain amount of cash left over. And so I'm going to apply that to the school loan debt. And to use simple tracking, you can use an Excel spreadsheet. You can use an app that I like, which is Every Dollar app by Dave Ramsey, because it allows you to adjust your expenses and your income, and it keeps a running tally for you. So you, as long as you're entering your income and entering all your expenses, which include a sinking fund for those things that you may need to pay, you know, quarterly, yearly, it will keep an automatic tracking system for you where you know, you're basically, it's your calculator for your income. But the other thing that you can do is set up the app in a way where it will tell you, you know, how much you're paying off so that you can get a visual of, okay, if I pay an additional few hundred on this school loan, it's going to take that projected 20-year payment down to 15 years.
Okay.
And so you're not going to be able, as a new grad, right? You're not going to be able to probably throw a lot at it unless you're in a high income field like nursing and things of that nature. You may be able to, but if you're not, to just remember that as you continue to work, your income is going to increase. And so you have a plan of attack using possibly bonuses, using, you know, salary increases. So for example, you know, avoiding the lifestyle creep as your salary increases, you know, don't buy that new car just yet, right? Focus on that debt, but having a visual of when that end date will be will help you kind of stay on track and to stay, you know, motivated to pay it off and to think about what you're going to be able to do with those funds once you pay that loan off. When you think about if you're able to pay off a $300 loan within 5 years versus 25 years, right? You know, that, you know, just 10 years of that is $30,000 almost, or over 30,000, right? That's the car and some other things. And so to think about it in those terms, the sooner you reduce that debt and eliminate that debt, the more opportunities and options you have to invest, to purchase things that you need, and then to kind of increase your lifestyle.
Yes, yes. So what is the name of that app again? It's
It is called Every Dollar.
every
You
dollar.
can download it on your phone. If you go to just the app, it's by Dave Ramsey.
Mhm.
And then it also has a web-based computer version. So if you're not, into doing that type of thing on your phone, it
Yes,
also has a desktop version as well, so you can, navigate it there as well.
yes. So we have said research, research, research. Whether you research the program that you're getting into, looking at the longevity of the program, where it will get you in the long run, versus researching student grants,
Mhm,
student scholarships, um, scholarships from your parents' company that they may be working in, scholarships within the school that you're trying to get into.
mhm,
You also want to consider the degree that you're doing. If you have to pivot out of it, you have to be able to do that, as well as, okay, you're a senior and you're going to graduate. How do you look at allocating funds for that loan that you're paying back, and how you're going to do so in an expedited amount of time so that you can have now that money to be saving for something else, whether it's
absolutely.
a car, a house, um, a trip, because you
Mhm,
may forego going on vacation for some time, or a big vacation for some time, or travel for some time, and you will be able to look at doing that 10 years down the line. I could now go Hawaii for a month.
yeah. And also to look at churches. Many churches
Ah,
have scholarships,
yes,
and
yes,
organizations such as women organizations, fraternities, and sororities. If your parents
right.
are a fraternity or sorority,
Okay,
really exhausting all of those different resources.
good. And then we also talked about checking out the app Every Dollar app.
Mhm,
You can download it on your phone, or you can do it on your computer, desktop, laptop, and you can be able to track how much funds you're putting towards your loan debt, and how you can reduce the time frame by adding certain amounts. You can be able to view how that can transform how
yes,
much you should be paying, and bringing down that debt in a more timely manner.
yes,
So, guys, this is a short one, but it's a lot of information. It's a lot of information that you can get started now.
yes, that's right,
You can actually get started now.
right,
And if you need more help with it, you can check out Miss Ronetta
yes,
on
yes,
startnowmoneycoach.com. And
yes.
she would be able to direct you in the way to go.
Yes. Absolutely. You can follow me on Instagram, Facebook, or LinkedIn at Start
Mhm.
Now Money Coach. I do a newsletter also that you can sign up for on my website, where I give free tips on different subjects on the first and third Thursday of each month. But definitely want you to have all the resources you need. It can be overwhelming, student loan debt. The number for many is a lot larger than the 39,000, which is the average. And, as Michelle said, you want to be grounded. You want to just kind of settle in that, okay, I have this amount of debt. Deep breathe, take a lot of deep breaths, and then get started on a plan of attack.
Yes, yes. So we want you to feel grounded, centered, and safe.
Yes.
Ask God for guidance. We are here to share information with you and get you moving forward in an effective and efficient way.
Yes.
So, again, we always have tips for you. Head on over to Miss Ronetta's web page, startnowmoneycoach.com, and you can hit her up, get her newsletter, subscribe to her web page, and just follow up and get the help that you need.
Yes.
Yes.
Yes. Here for you.
Thank you so much, Miss Ronetta.
You're
So
welcome.
we want you to feel empowered and grounded.
Yes.
All right. This is New Beginnings Podcast with Michelle and Miss Ronetta again. And we are going to be back. We are always back with information to help you enhance your well-being. This has been a New Beginnings Podcast. Thank you so much and have a good day and a good week. Bye for now.